The Sprint Cup is next for us then. Group 2 contest over the 1,200 metres. 8 of them go to post. Headed by Mr. Stunning, of course, the hero from Hong Kong International Day. Dead heating with Beat the Clock last time out. Amazing Kids gave Brett Preble his 800th winner when he was winning last time out. Peniophobia, he'll roll forward. Born in China goes up in class. That's Dundonnell and Winner's Way as well, who are all behind Amazing Kids last time out. We're here at the touch screen to have a look at the speed map and the key races as well. So, Brett, from the front and from the outset, we imagine that it'd be Peniophobia out in his usual spot there in the lead.
Would have thought so, Andrew. Yeah, self-explanatory. Peniophobia, who ran second in this race last year. I thought he went slightly better too last start. He's had another trial, finished third in that. He'll be finding the front. I don't think Winner's Way has got enough sort of oomph to sort of kick up and hold him out. Not listening to me. We saw that trial earlier on. Yeah. He could probably be up there. I think Nash will be wanting cover on Mr. Stunning. Maybe this horse here is the one that could potentially sort of end up here. 2 starts ago, he did jump well and he got right into that sort of spot. But he is unreliable. Amazing Kids will be back here. And again, the question mark, Beat the Clock. We saw him earlier on in the season, first up, come from the back. He looked magnificent. But he is a horse that's got tactical versatility as well. Maybe looking for that spot there. Who knows? That's a 50-50, that one. I guess Joe will make his decision once the starter says go and they get into stride.
50-50's in the next race, isn't he? But there we go. All good horses here, Paul. What have you seen?
Yeah, very good. We'll start with the sort of the main players in this particular contest. Mr. Stunning being one of them. Just nice slow work for him, but he's just ticking over nicely. He's going very well, this horse, at the moment. And he's had a stellar season. Everything's been going very well for him. Beat the Clock, he's his stablemate and obviously the main rival in the race as well. He's doing it nicely enough here as well. You can just see John Sizes ticking these horses over. He's not really pushing them out or anything in their track work. And Peniophobia, I think he's going really well. Brett said it was an improved effort last time. If he gets his own way in front, he's an interesting runner for me. I've snuck him in. I think he's going okay at the moment.
All right, OK. And with Neil Cannell in the saddle from Barrier 6. Let's start off with the big 3, though. They're all trained by John Size.
John, 3 runners in the Sprint Cup on the weekend. Start off with Mr. Stunning. He's had a couple of months between runs. How's he done in that time?
Well, the horse seems OK. He's done well. He's had a pretty tough season so far. He's held his form and he's very honest and willing racehorse. So every day he goes to the races, he puts down a good effort. I think he's OK. His trial, last time he trialled, he seemed to trial like everything was working.
Last run, of course, was in the Centenary Sprint Cup, beaten by DB Pin. What was your take on that performance?
Well, you know, there's not much margin between the sprinting horses, the top 3 or 4. So the circumstances of the race in that particular day, he happened to get beaten. But he didn't get beaten by far. He was fighting out the finish. And I thought it was another one of his very good efforts.
Mentioned that there's not a heat between the sprinters here. With that £5 penalty that he's got under the conditions of this race, is that a concern?
Well, yeah, I mean, every ounce counts. It's always a matter of handicap, every race. That's what it's all about. But, you know, he's going to feel that at some stage. But if he gets the nice run, the handicap will probably take care of itself.
And what about Beat the Clock? Does 1,200 metres, is that a better trip for him?
It seems to be a better trip for him. He does run the 1,400, and as you saw, he ran very competitively at 1,400. But on paper, the 1,200 is a better distance for him. He probably, you know, come into the race at the latter stages, and if he arrives in time, he can win.
He must have been pleased the way that he's continued to improve this preparation and taken that step up to Group 1 level.
Yeah, he's fine. He's a year younger. He's only 4-year-old, so he's done a very good job. And if he can get away with one of these sprints at 4, it'll be a very good effort, and he'll have something to look forward to next season.
Amazing Kids. Good to see him winning last time out. In his previous encounters, though, with Mr. Stunning over the season, Mr. Stunning had his measure. Do you see it unfolding again that way?
Well, he's had like 3 months between runs before his last start, in which he appreciated. It looks like he's had a much easier season than the others. So he's still got a bit of fresh legs, and he certainly just needs a little bit of luck. I think the small field suits him a lot. That'll help him a lot. He's got not many horses to negotiate to get through. So I wouldn't be surprised if he put his head in the finish.
3 live chances then, but as John touching on, Mr Stunning does give £5 to the field.
That's right, for winning a Group 1, obviously already this season. Look, it might be the difference in the end, but the barrier's a bit awkward for Beat the Clock. There's not a huge amount between those two, and Amazing Kid's not far away. I think it might be the old 1, 2, 3 routine.
Yeah, it looks the way, doesn't it? I think Mr Stunning will get the better run in the two and get first run on them.
I saw it the same way.
All right, OK, well, let's have a look at a few of them in action, starting off with Amazing Kids. This is the place where we'll start, and that win last time out, and there's a whole host of them involved in this race as well. So he wins, of course. We've got Winner's Way. It looks like they're going to drop him, and he actually picks up in the closing stages. Peniophobia, who's just in behind a couple of horses on this occasion. Born in China finishes off quite nicely out wide. We've got Not Listening to Me as well, and of course Dundonald, who's out wide on the track at this point.
Well, this of course was a handicap, so he had to carry all the weight. Amazing Kid, so technically he's better off against all of the opposition here.
Yeah, it's hard to see any of these horses overturning. The only one, look, I've got him in for third, and I put Peniophobia in for fourth, and the reason being is that he'll get his own way in front, so it'll be a differently run race. But of the others, I think Amazing Kids has got the measure.
I'm with you, Paul. I think, you know, set weights now, it's Amazing Kids. We know he ran a great race in the Chairman's Sprint Prize a few years ago behind Chautauqua at set weight, so we know what his capabilities are. He's got most of them covered, but like Paul, I think Peniophobia is potentially... We know he's a Group 1 horse, and he might be still lifting a little bit.
He did run well in this race last year, Peniophobia.
Yeah, but he hasn't been his best, though, for... probably 18 months.
Well, here he is again, Peniophobia. We've got Mr Stunning and Beat the Clock, dead heating behind stablemate DB Penn.
Yep, and there's Blizzard, obviously, who's just gone to Japan recently. But, you know, Peniophobia, you go back 2 seasons, he's already won an international sprint. He's there at set weights, but his form hasn't quite been as good the last 1800. But I thought there was a little bit of an improvement last start. Paul's highlighted it. If he gets a soft lead, he can run better. Mr Stunning, Beat the Clock, DB Penn. They are the emerging young sprinters here in Hong Kong, and there's not a huge amount of difference between them. I think if you swap the ages over for Mr Stunning and Beat the Clock, I think Beat the Clock would probably be a better horse, but he is younger, as John said.
Yeah, I thought Mr Stunning, he sort of got the run and he just got bobbed out of it late by his stablemates there, so I think he can win the race.
All right, well, this is recent trial coming in. There is Mr Stunning. Beat the Clock as well, just out here. Joe on his back, and again, once more, Peniophobia.
So, yeah, we get a good read on all these horses. They've been sort of running against each other. Obviously, this is just a trial, so none of them are really pushed out. Now, Beat the Clock got the first run on him here, but you can see Mr Stunning wasn't moved the whole way down. Didn't mind the trial from Peniophobia. He stayed on well. But look, I think Mr Stunning will get first run on Beat the Clock, but they're the first two for me.
That performance from Beat the Clock when he reeled off a 21.59 in Class 2 earlier on, when he came from well back and defeated Pavlovsky, of course, that was first up. Outstanding. The tactics they use for Beat the Clock, I think, are the key. Whether they decide to drop back and try and come with a late burst, or whether they want to do what they did there in the trial. The other thing with Mr Stunning, he's unbeaten second up, and John's given him 2 trials leading into this, so effectively maybe going into it second up.
All right, 1, 2, 3, Paul?
Yep, simple as that. 1 to beat 2 and 3. Peniophobia in there for fourth. Mr Stunning to beat his stablemates. But I'll play a test, because I wouldn't be surprised if Peniophobia does run a better race. 1, 2, 3, 5.
Ditto. 1, 2, 3 and 5. Same as Paul, same reasons. I think the 1-2 is the way to go.
All right. Mr Stunning for me as well. 1 and 2, the Q in the Sprint Cup, which leads us on to the second of the Group 2 races. And Time Warp, dropping back to a mile. Can he dictate and dominate, though, from the front? The Gold Cup winner last time out. Beauty Generation, of course, successful in the Queen's Silver Jubilee Cup last time out. Douglas White in the saddle. Pakistan Star, odds on when rolled over the mile last time out. And 50-50, the grey is back as well. Karis Teeton in the saddle.